Mike Tyson.
Feint at him and step up, creep up, all right? Flip.
Hey, I need you to move your fucking head.
You got it, boy. You got it. You got it. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Child CH Mike P feinted in step up creep up all right flip. Hey, I need you to move your music __. What happens next? The fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was something that the boxing world couldn't stop talking about, and it finally went down. While many had their doubts about whether Mike Tyson at 58 years old could compete with a much younger and more active Jake Paul, there was still that sense of anticipation. Mike Tyson is a legend and people wondered if he could turn back the clock just one more music time. The opening round was cautious on both sides. Jake Paul was mostly defensive, trying to wear Mike down. Jake used his reach and jab to keep Tyson at bay, but Mike landed a few body shots that reminded everyone of his classic style. Despite landing a few body shots, Jake didn't quite go down as we thought he would, but it was clear that Mike's age was a factor. He wasn't as fast or aggressive as he used to be. It was a close round, but Tyson probably edged it based on those signature body shots. During the second round, Jake started to find his rhythm. In the second round, he used his jab more effectively, keeping Tyson at a distance. Tyson, though still dangerous, wasn't able to close the distance as easily, and Jake landed some decent counters. Tyson's slower footwork became more apparent as the round went on. Jake was more active and landed the cleaner shots, so this round likely went to him. Got it, boy, you got it, let's go, baby, music. Go. Round 3 was when Tyson found some success early in the round with a couple of sharp uppercuts in, and for a brief moment it felt like we were watching a younger version of him. Jake took the shots well though and didn't back down. The power in Tyson's punches was still there, but Jake's youth and durability showed. It was a close round, but Tyson's big shots might have swayed the judges. From round 4 onwards, the fight started tilting in Jake Paul's favor. Tyson was visibly tired in his punches didn't have the same zip. Jake, on the other hand, looked fresh and started to take control. His jab was working well and he was landing cleaner shot on a slowing Tyson. Jake's confidence was growing and Tyson seemed to be running out of gas. It was a clear round for Jake. Oldest traditions well tonight. Tradition. Tyson gave one last burst of energy in this round, landing a couple of body shots, but it was clear that he was fading. Jake capitalized on Tyson's fatigue, pressing forward and landing some solid combinations. The momentum had fully shifted in Jake's favor and Tyson was mostly in survival mode. Jake won this round convincingly. Tyson was all fatigued by round 6. By this point it was all Jake Paul. Tyson was barely throwing punches and Jake was picking his shots. He hurt Tyson with a big right hand and you could see the end was near. The crowd could sense it too. Jake didn't rush for the knockout but was patient, controlling the action and landing it well. This was another dominant round for Jake. We looking for you, we working your glove the whole training. The knockout came in the 7th round. Jake Paul landed a clean right hand that sent Tyson crashing to the canvas. The ref immediately stopped the fight and that was it. Jake Paul won by knockout. It was a bittersweet moment seeing a legend like Mike Tyson go down, but Jake Paul showed that he's more than just a YouTuber turned boxer. He knocked out one of the greatest names in the sport. Even if Tyson was far past his prime, this fight wasn't just about Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, it was a full-blown spectacle. First off, the fight took place at Ant Stadium in Arlington, Texas, one of the biggest venues in sports, and it was organized by Netflix in its debut into the world of combat sports. Streaming the event globally without the usual pay-per-view price tag made it accessible to a massive audience, and Netflix turned it into an entertainment event more than just a boxing match. That crossover appeal was what made this fight so unique. It attracted both boxing purists and casual fans who just wanted to see something wild. Music. Leading up to the fight there were plenty of rumors and speculation about Mike Tyson's condition. He had to pull out of the original July 2024 date due to a medical issue related to an ulcer, and that setback delayed the fight for several months. People were already questioning whether Tyson at 58 could handle a fight like this, and the medical issue only fueled those doubts. Even though Tyson reassured everyone that he was ready, you could see in the fight that age had caught up with him. There were also rumors about Jake Paul's training camp being particularly intense for this fight. He knew that even an older Tyson could be dangerous, so he reportedly brought in some elite sparring partners to prepare. Jake's strategy was clear from the start: use his jab, stay on the outside and wait for Tyson to tire. It worked perfectly. About to smoke on that Mike Tyson pack. So Jake Paul says he's about to smoke on that Mike Tyson pack. We have Logan Paul in the background. They're potentially training with Jake with this win. Jake Paul's stock in the boxing world is higher than ever. Knocking out Mike Tyson even at 58 is a huge deal. There are already talks about potential future opponents for Jake. He's still relatively young in his boxing career and he could go in a few different directions. There's talk of a rematch with Anderson Silva or maybe even fights against more legitimate boxers. Some have speculated that Jake might want to step into the MMA world at some point given his feud with the UFC. He's just saying that to make it seem like I wasn't banned, but definitely has sent an email to me saying I'm TR trespass from all UFC events and I'm not welcome back. As for Mike Tyson, it's hard to say what's next for him. This fight was likely his last in any serious capacity. At his age there's no need for him to take more punishment. He's already a legend and nothing can change that. Tyson might continue with exhibitions, but after this fight many believe it's time for him to officially hang up the gloves for good. Now let's talk about some pre-fight predictions and post-fight statements, starting off with Floyd Mayweather. The boxing world was buzzing with excitement leading up to this fight, and who better to weigh in than Mayweather himself. Recently he made an appearance on the It Is What It Is podcast and couldn't help but drop some gems about Jake Paul taking on the legendary Mike Tyson. Jake Paul, the first mean as of right now for what he's doing. It's good for what he's doing, but once he fights a real fighter it's going to be bad. Floyd praised Jake for stepping into the ring with Tyson, but it was all in good humor. He mentioned that it's not just about the fight but more about Paul's ability to turn this into a big payday if he can continue to steal money and they match him the way they match him. I can't knock his hustle. Mayweather said you've got to love that candid take from Floyd, who's always been about the business side of boxing. He sees how Jake has leveraged his fame and popularity, and honestly it's hard to disagree. The expected earnings for this bout were rumored to be astronomical, reflecting the unusual nature of celebrity matchups in boxing today. Have you been impressed? But one thing I like about it, one thing I do like about he's selling it and he's making good money and he's entertaining. I like. While some fans were skeptical about the competitive nature of the fight, Mayweather's perspective was more about how Jake has created this massive platform for himself. He's built a brand around his boxing exploits and that's pretty impressive. Floyd even hinted at the age gap, 30 years between the two fights, but he focused more on the entertainment aspect. After all, boxing is as much about the show as it is about the skill, and Jake has proven that he knows how to draw an audience. But it wasn't just Mayweather talking. The legendary Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield also threw their support behind Tyson. Even though Tyson is now 58 and hasn't fought professionally in over 2 decades, both former rivals believe he still has what it takes to take down a younger fighter like Paul Lewis, who famously defeated Tyson back in 2002, voiced his confidence, saying Tyson's experience could give him the upper hand. He went on to emphasize Tyson's power, mentioning how a few solid combinations could quickly end the fight. I mean, if anyone knows about dealing with Tyson's power, it's Lewis. Mike Tyson, he's fighting Jake Paul. You know this man well. What are your expectations for that big fight? Mike Tyson is two-dimensional. He's going to come at you trying to knock you out. You've got to try and stay away from him, stay away from his power. Holyfield also weighed in, comparing Tyson's fighting style to that of a snake, emphasizing his ability to strike quickly and catch opponents off guard. He warned Jake that if he tried to keep his distance he might find himself on the receiving end of a vicious knockout, but if Paul managed to stay close he might just smother Tyson's renowned power. I don't know how much confidence that Jake Paul have in all this, but you know he's going to be a lot quicker if he stay close. Rumors were swirling that Tyson's return to the ring was more about the paycheck than his love for the sport, but Tyson himself squashed those speculations. He clarified that his motivation wasn't financial, instead it was personal. He wanted to challenge himself and see what he was truly made of. With an $80 million purse on the line, it's hard to imagine that cash wasn't a factor at all, but Tyson was adamant about the fight being a test of his abilities. Will you be high when you fight Jake Paul? Oh, I'm going to be so high off life. Yeah. Are you training hard? Training extremely hard. Yeah. How many hours a day? I start 11 o'clock and I might leave the gym at 5 o'clock. I don't look at this like it's going to be easy. Fight this